This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you been struggling lately? Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, difficulty with the relationship, or just suffering from self doubt. Now, y'all know there's no shame in my game, and life has been lifing lately. Trying to manage the priorities of being a wife, mom, friend, and full time entrepreneur, it can get overwhelming. If this sounds like you, then BetterHelp wants to help you today. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. Talk to a therapist in a private online environment at your convenience. There are over 20,000 therapists in BetterHelp's network, which gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire to assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. How cool is that? Then you schedule secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can also request a new therapist anytime at no additional charge. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced therapist from BetterHelp. There's a special offer to the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast listeners. You get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/slang. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/slang, SLAYING. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. You're listening to the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast with Coach Felicia, where we empower Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and insecurities in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Hey Slayers, welcome back to another episode of Slaying Self-Doubt podcast. It's your girl, Coach Felicia. Welcome to all the new and continued listeners. I don't care how you guys found me, just thank you so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, please make sure that you go and do that now. There's a link that I'm going to put in the bio. In the show notes, it's going to be new because I actually have something to say about that. You have to be connected to the newsletter to get some stuff, y'all, because things be changing and it be wonky. And so let's just get into it. So in the wonky news, right? No, before I do the wonky news, let me do some celebrations. Okay. We hit 48,000 downloads, y'all. Like, I think I published, I told you I recorded last week's episode late. I recorded on Tuesday. It is Saturday. So in a matter of like 4 days, like we're over 48,000. Like we are going to get to 50,000 before the end of 2022. And the fact that I can see it and it is so clear, my heart is I'm just so happy. I'm so excited and I just can't wait because that is a big milestone that I have been trying to hit for the last 2 years. So to be there is going to be freaking amazing, and I'm excited about it. So that is I'm excited about. I am recording today after being the keynote speaker at the She Will Rise brunch. It was amazing. Y'all know I told you I was stressing out about it. I had been, feeling, my self-doubt just be showing up all the time. It was there all the way through the entire speech, but your girl killed it. I did it. I told them, I said, I'm used to talking to myself. It's different when it's people looking at me, right? Like it don't really feel the same, right? But I came with the same energy I give y'all every week. And so they loved it. Your girl did that. So that is definitely a huge win for me because man, like I said, there are things that we have no idea how we get to certain places, but we just got to keep trusting the process. So yeah, those are my two big wins for this week. And so now let's get into the wonky stuff. Okay. So last week we talked a lot of bit about posing and shifting, right? And one of the things I think that's important for us to have a conversation about is that when you transition into entrepreneurship, when you don't know nothing, that can be a really, really bad thing. So let me just give you all a PSA. If you are currently working your 9 to 5 and you are considering entrepreneurship, hold on to your job and your security of your funds. That was the consistency of your funds, and make sure that you have everything in place. Make sure that you know what it is that you're trying to do before you do it. Now, every case is not the same, right? Because some people know what they want to do. So let me just say that. I did not know what I wanted to do. I didn't even know I wanted to do entrepreneurship. Y'all know my story. God gave it to me, but I also know that I would not have been able to see this, to make this into something, working the job that I worked. However, if I could have, along the way, along this journey, have made some different choices about stuff, I would say that one of it is really understanding in the very beginning what it was going to look like. Like I knew, but I don't think I knew, right? And not just jumping on everything that you hear in a course or in a class or that you see other entrepreneurs doing, like really taking the time to figure out what is going to work for me, like being very clear, right? I told you before, yeah, you're going to have some pit stops and you're going to have some sinkholes and all of that stuff. And you may have to detour, U-turn, all of that stuff. But if for the best that you can to make the best decision for you, is to get as much information as you can in the beginning. What I did was is I did talk to a couple of my friends who were entrepreneurs and were kind of working in their business. They don't do the same thing that I do, but they do have their own businesses. And, a lot of the stuff was the foundational things, like making sure you got stuff, registered within your state and making sure that you are registered as a business within the government and, getting certain things taken care of so that you made sure that you had what you needed when it started to come up off the ground. Because a lot of people, they find themselves and we've heard stories before with people like, yeah, I've been doing this, da, da, da. They don't have no domain. They didn't, so they don't have no domain, which is a website, right? Or they don't own it, or they're using something kind of like, I don't know, something through somebody else. Like they don't own their own domain. They may use it through like GoDaddy. So for instance, when I first started Slaying Self Doubt and I got a website, I did it through GoDaddy, right? But I purchased it through GoDaddy .com. And so once I started to realize like, oh no, I need to own my own domains, is when I went to transition to Namecheap. And Namecheap, you can purchase, they don't have to be actual websites. So I purchased a website through GoDaddy, but the domains are just domains. I remember Unique Jones Gibson from Because of Them We Can. She posted something some years ago that was like, you think of something, purchase the domain. Purchase the domain, because can't nobody take that. Once you have it, if you try to do anything like trademarking or whatever have you, like that is your first step. And I remember that from the back of my mind. To do that. So like when I transitioned and stuff, like the first thing I had was slayingselfdoubt.com. And then I was in this program that was like, use your name. So like Felicia Wallace. So when I went to go like bring everything in, I couldn't purchase at the time Slaying Self Doubt because GoDaddy still owned it. Don't ask me how, because I didn't have a website with them no more, but they still owned it. And I don't know, maybe I just didn't read the fine print and realize that they still had my name, but I literally had to check like every month to make sure that it was released. And finally, it took about a year before it was released. And then I could purchase it and buy it back. Now I owned it, but because it was, even though it was like under me, but it was through them, it still was like I wouldn't have been able to pay the regular $8 that they let you pay. I was gonna have to pay like $300. And I was like, no, I'll just wait till it falls off, because I knew don't nobody own that but me. Like it's clearly mine, right? But all of those things helped me when I was ready to do my trademarking, right? So I had some things in order, some things in place. One of the things that I definitely did not think about, or I definitely am still working through, is understanding the financial piece of being in entrepreneurship, right? If you don't get paid, you can't pay your overhead and the things that it needs to happen, right? So yeah, it's cool when we're doing stuff and you can say, oh, I didn't get a client this week, or oh, I didn't get a sale this time, or oh, this whatever have you. But when them bills start coming out and you be like, oh, wait a minute, I bought this website from this place and for a year, right? Because so the website that I had before, everything that I needed for it, it was like an annual thing, right? And every time I would have this thought like, oh dang, when this like September, October come up, I need to make sure that I switch this out, because if I'm not making no money, then I gotta figure it out. Or if I'm not making enough money to make sure that I can cover my monthly expenses, it's going to be a problem. And so, in this midst of this posing and shifting, that's one of the things that I had to do. I had to go through and I had to say, what don't I need? What don't I use anymore? Because now some things, like I was using like 4 different things for some stuff. And then eventually, I guess Canva caught up with the times and Canva offers all of the things, right? So then I was like, okay, well, the other 3 things I don't need because everything I need is in Canva. Boom. I don't, so I got rid of the other stuff. And then little by little stuff like that. So then I was like, you know what? I know I could get a free or cheaper website for the time being. I don't need all the bells and whistles. I need you to just be able to book a call with me. I need you to just be able to listen to the podcast or purchase a hoodie, right? So I go through the steps, I deactivate everything, boom, bang. Oh, okay, girl, you did the right thing. Yo. So one of the things that I forgot is that when you purchase your domain, right? And you link it up with, purchase your domain, link it up with a hosting site. It's like a website, right? And if you use Google Suite, which I do for your emails, and that's how when you see people when they have stuff like mine's info@FeliciaWallace.com, or if it was info@slayingselfdoubt.com, it's because it's linked up to a hosting site. Well, y'all, I had took the hosting site down and ain't think nothing of it. And then I was like, I'm not getting emails, or maybe I'm tripping. Maybe people just aren't responding to me. So I'm just going to mind my business. I'll go ahead. And I, I probably did this like 2 weeks ago, y'all. Don't ask me what I think I've missed in the last 2 weeks. I literally have no idea. So the only reason I know is because a client sent me something and she was like, for whatever reason, it won't go through. And I was like, huh? And so then she was like, yeah. So she sent me a screenshot. And I was like, oh no. I forgot that I didn't connect it to anything. So then I'm like, oh, this past, like, it's like probably like this was Thursday. So like the last day and a half, I've been like scrambling, trying to figure stuff out. So, and then I'm not even like a tech person. So I'm on the phone with the people, well, not on the phone, but like on the chat support with the people, trying to get them to figure out how to do it. Cause I did another one that was going to be cheaper. And I was like, I can manage that. And I'm just like, what? Like all the different things. Got it all hooked up. Everything is fine now. You can link on it, all of that stuff, right? So then I try to go to the shop. And then I'm like, well, why is it not working? And so then I'm like, oh my goodness, you need the like security thing or whatever. They won't, if you don't have the security thingy, then it won't let you purchase anything because you have to have it, and which I'm glad that they do, but it's to prevent what's like the SSL certificate. Okay, so mind you, when I created all of this stuff 3 years ago, I, I'm not really thinking about all the things that are required to go along with it. So I don't think about the things that are missing when I'm doing it now, right? So I'm like, okay, well now I need to do this, and now I need to do that. So this is the first reason why I say you need to be connected to the newsletter, because in all actuality, I can do everything through the newsletter because it's not connected to the website. That's number one. Number two, the other lesson in this is make sure you are ready to like handle all of the business stuff when you step out into this, because I mean things are going to happen. You're going to have to pivot when stuff go left, and I made it work. I made it do what it do. And it's okay that those things are going to happen, but like I was saying last week, when you're so stuck on it has to look this way and it has to be this way, you will find yourself, you know, literally messing yourself up. And for a while, that's where my head was at. Like it had to look a certain type of way. Like, oh no, I need to be able to, make sure I have a full-fledged website. I need to be able to have this thing because look at all of these other coaches, look at all these other things, look at all again, this comparison thing or inspiration, that's what we're saying to ourselves, that turns into comparison. And if you don't know what that means, let me explain it. Everybody, probably to a certain level, everybody's level is different, but you're following somebody on social media or you are looking at somebody's stuff and you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by what they do. This is amazing. This is, Tasha is doing such great work over here, and we're similar. We're kind of similar. We're in the same kind of area, and she does this and she's doing that, and oh my gosh, this is inspiring. But then you start paying attention to them too much, and inspiration turns into like, well, mine don't look like that. I don't, let me see. Let me go look at Tasha's. Oh, let me see what she has. Oh, okay. So she has this. So let me make sure I have that. Oh, okay. She added her Instagram feed to her thing. Okay. Let me figure out how I'm going to do that. Oh, okay. So instead of her having, she's offering this, right? We are so, we can get so caught up and what we think is supposed to happen and what we see other people doing. That, remember last week I talked about putting limitations on what a God has told us. The other part is that we can put some add-ons. We can add some stuff on, add to your cart plus one over, and just continue to think that what we're doing is leveling up, that we're enhancing this. Oh, we're making it better. Oh, we're doing, oh no, let me tell you something that I had to tell myself. God do not need your help in blessing you and blessing others. Okay. He don't need your help in doing what it is that he already knows that he needs to do. If you don't need a, wild and crazy website, why are you making it? Right. And you have to think about the long, like the what's the word I'm looking for? You have to think about it in long terms. Like, is this something is this sustainable? Is this something that you can keep up? And I'm saying, from somebody who is still in their third year, like, a lot of people say it takes them years to get to a place of consistency, right? And when you're in this space that I'm telling you that I am in, when you're in this pause and you're in this shifting area where you're not really sure what's the right move, it is not wise for you to have your monthly expenses being $500 a month when you can't afford it. It can't be the $250 a month if you can't afford it. Whatever your monthly expenses are, it can't be that if you really can't afford it. And so you have to have an honest conversation with yourself to be able to say, is this something that I can continue to do? I'm not saying give it up. I'm not saying that you don't do it. I'm saying that you need to reevaluate and reexamine where you are. Is some of that also has to, so that means you got to change some things up, right? Go to some free stuff. That's why I say what I use for the emails is free right now. So why would I go to paying for it? I'm not, right? Because honestly, I can get out whatever I need to get out. I use Instagram. It's free. All social media is free. I'm going to use what I can to the extent that I need to, because why not? But then also two, that's just the situation I'm in right now. The other thing is that when you're on this journey, I definitely advocate for investing in yourself and for, getting a coach, because you need help. You need people in your village. You need people in your support system to get you to go and, help you continue to move in a forward direction. However, if you're at a place where you need to reevaluate some things, sometimes you have to let that go. And so that's something I had to do. One of the coaches that I have, I've been working with her for quite nice for probably more than half the year. Oh, is it been a year? I don't know. It's been a while. But I had to reach out to her to tell her that right now, because of me having to re-examine some things, I had to press pause on her. And it's not to say like, oh, I can't work with you, this, that, and the third, or I'm not going to be able to. I'll be back, sis. Don't you worry about that. But I have to take care of me first. And a lot of times what we do is we feel like, oh, I can't stop doing this. Oh, I can't stop. I don't want to stop this because, I don't want them to look at me a certain type of way. I don't want to change what's happening here because I don't want people to think this. Oh, I don't want to have just a landing page because what are people going to think? What, why do you care? If business is still working and business is still moving and you're still able to function, you may have to downgrade some things until you can get there. Too many times we are comparing our page one, or not even our page one, just we at the, what's that first part of the book where they telling you what the copyright is and who wrote it, where it came from, all that stuff. You ain't even know words on the paper. Or that paper that don't have no words on it. To somebody's chapter 25. You don't know the things that they've been through. You don't know the struggles that they had. I have talked to so many women on this podcast who have had 1 year of entrepreneurship and who have had 35 years. And everybody's story is different. Everybody's beginning is different. Everybody's ending is different. So today, I just wanted to encourage you that if you are in this and you know that what it is you're doing something, you know whatever it is that you're supposed to do, make sure you're making the right decisions. Make sure that you are like really fully examining what you're getting yourself into. And if you have to stay at your job a little bit longer, go ahead and do that. If you have to get another job in the middle of your entrepreneurship journey, do that. Don't let people be out here making it seem like, oh, they got it from the gutter or whatever have you. Because let me tell you something, there's a lot of people that I have seen on social media who have been like lately, I want to say like in the last maybe 2022, say within this year, who have been like um these entrepreneurs who are charging 5 or 6 figures for their courses that are like, yeah, I had to go back to my government job. Yeah, I had to go back to contracting. Yeah, I had to go. And I've seen people in their comments be like, what? Really? We thought that because the reality, again, people are showing you their highlights. People are showing you their wins. That's really what's supposed to happen. But they're not telling you behind closed doors. I had somebody share on my show one time that their house was in foreclosure. Like, because they were going through, like, they had to, because they were in during their entrepreneurship journey, that they house was in foreclosure, that things were happening at home. Like, sometimes people don't tell you what's going on when they're in it, and I can understand that, because when you in it, I'm not worried about you. I ain't worried about sharing my story with you at the moment. However, when I'm out of it, like I'm out that storm, I feel like it's our responsibility to be like, this is what I've been through, and this is how I got myself out. This is the difference, or this is what I should have done differently, so that you can help the next person. And so that was why I wanted to share, especially these last 2 weeks, like what's going on, because um stuff will change. It's certain things we don't have no control over. And it's better to me that I have learned, in doing this and talking to you all for the past 3 years, that it's better to just get it out your chest, get it off your chest rather, and share it with people so that other people can learn from your experience, so that you can learn from your experience. Because a lot of times when I say stuff on here and I be like, okay, that was a moment for me. I don't even think I realized that. Like, we be knowing it, but because we don't say it out loud, it doesn't like resonate to us as much until we're able to be really, really honest and transparent with ourselves and with other people. And so, um, even as exciting as the news that we had, eh, eh, and how things are going or whatever have you, you just have to reevaluate your life. And of course, I'm talking about entrepreneurship at this present moment, but that goes with anything. If you are in a 9 to 5 and you want a promotion, or you want to work in a different department, or you want to get a whole nother job, like, examine what it is that you need, what it is that you want. If you are trying to buy a house or buy a car or whatever, there's some type of life change that's happening around you. You really need to be honest with yourself about what all that you can do. What can you take on? Because we all have a capacity. Every single person has. There's only so much that we can take. And once that's filled to the brim and it's done, it's no need for you to be burnt out for something that you could have just taken a day or maybe a week to just pause and think about. So I hope that was helpful. Some of it seemed like it was rambling, but y'all know me by now. I be doing that sometimes. Y'all, so we are at the end of September. October is Financial Planning Month. And so we're going to have our girl, Money Mindset Coach Tiffany Burns. She was on the IG Live with me back in March. So we're coming to you all for another IG Live series to talk about how self-doubt plays a role in our finances. Now, I know I'm coming to y'all right before the holiday season, but also, okay, we talk about preparation, right? You got to prepare for the next year. So, you know, take the meat, throw away the bones. I know y'all gonna do whatever y'all gonna do during Black Friday and Christmas and all that other stuff, but I want you to prepare yourself for what the next thing is, right? And so this is going to be an honest conversation for us to just really like get to the root of some stuff. There will be no guest episodes dropping on Thursdays because I'll be preparing for the live. So it'll just be solo episodes on Sunday for the month of October. And then catch us on Thursdays at 7 p.m. on Instagram Live. So you have to be following me in order to make sure that you see that. As always, y'all, thank y'all for rocking with me. Remember, Jesus and therapy. So take charge of your mental health and get 10% off your first month of therapy at betterhelp.com/slang. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/slang, SLAYING. Ciao. I would tell y'all to grab a hoodie, but wait till the site is back up. Right now, just remember, we out here trusting God. If you're interested in working with me, you can still click that link and schedule a book a connection call. Make sure y'all share this episode with at least 10 people. We are trying to hit 50,000 downloads. Now I think we are closer than ever. Okay, so we only need like 2,000 more. So if y'all can knock this out the park, I'm telling you, it'll happen. It'll happen before December. I know it will. Make sure y'all following me on IG at Slaying Self Doubt. Until next week, see ya. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.